In Part 1, we imagined if humanity vanished, leaving Earth to rewrite its story in a cosmic blink. On May 2, 2025, 118,000 people disappear in 0.001 seconds, leaving 1.4 billion cars frozen in New York streets. After 168 hours, 440 nuclear reactors shut down, but 50 risk melting, releasing 100,000 curies of radiation per IAEA. Twist: French reactors run for 14 extra days, defying doom like cosmic pranksters. By 3 months, 80% of 1.5 billion pet dogs die, unable to hunt, per National Geographic. But 200 million feral cats seize 70% of supermarkets, ruling like kings, while 99% of 10 million goldfish perish in 72 hours. Twist: 100,000 Alaskan sled dogs form a wolf pack, claiming the ice in a furry rebellion. At 6 months, 3 billion trees crack 50% of London's sidewalks with 10 MPA routes per nature. Tokyo's Shinjuku becomes a jungle, with 70% of skyscrapers vine-covered in 4 months. Twist: 1 million tons of spoiled food create a methane cloud, turning New York's sky purple in a sci-fi glow. By 20 years, CO2 drops from 420 ppm to 280 ppm, cooling Earth by 0.8 degrees C per NOA. 40% of coral reefs recover, and 1.2 million deer roam New York per WWF. Twist: a global dust storm from 1 billion tons of factory dust greens, 20% of the Sahara, per Science Advances. What If Universe continues in Part 2, from swamps to alien secrets in 1 million years. Hit subscribe, comment what rules Earth in 1 million years, and don't miss the cosmic twist. Milestone 3, 1,000 years. Urban ruins sink beneath forests. After a millennium, Earth has nearly forgotten humans. 99% of cities from Tokyo to Sao Paulo vanish, with only 0.1% of stone foundations exposed under 1 meter of soil at a sedimentation rate of 1 million lamim year. Geological Society. 95% of skyscrapers collapse fully, leaving 10 billion tons of debris merged into the soil, unrecognizable. The Giza pyramids, now only 100 meters tall due to wind erosion at 0.1 mil more year, look like a strange hill in the desert. Ecosystems peak in biodiversity. 100 million deer and 500,000 bears dominate former forests, from New York to Moscow, per IUCN. 1.5 billion birds nest in ruins, turning Paris into a vibrant sky of birds. Hybrid cats, 30% heavier than ancestors, become super predators, claiming 80% of North America's grasslands, per evolutionary biology. Oceans thrive. 80% of coral reefs recover, and 100,000 humpback whales dominate the Pacific, per WWF. Infrastructure leaves no clear traces. 99% of highways in California and Germany turn to dust, covered by forests and grasslands. The Three Gorges Dam, once 181 meters tall, collapses into a 50-meter earthen hill at an erosion rate of 0.2 miwa year. Australia's Hydrology Journal. 1 billion tons of plastic degrade into microplastics, buried under 5 meters of soil, with only copper and gold persisting in sediment, per Environmental Science and Technology. Satellites, once 27,000 in orbit, have fallen, creating 10,000 meteor showers over 500 years, per ESA. Climate stabilizes at pre-industrial levels. CO2 reaches 230 ppm, the lowest in 15,000 years, thanks to 6 billion trees absorbing 20 GTC annually, per Nature Geoscience. Global temperature drops 2 degrees, causing 70% of Greenland's ice to reform, per IPCC. 50% of the Sahara becomes grasslands, with 1 million km of new grass per Science Advances. Geology erases nearly all traces. 90% of concrete degrades, with only 0.01% of stone foundations in arid regions, Giza, remaining. River and wind erosion, at 0.5 mm year, cover 95% of small structures per geology. Mount Rushmore, once carved with presidents, erodes into a smooth hill, unrecognizable per Journal of Geomorphology. In the Vatican, 1 million olive trees grow over St. Peter's Square, turning the basilica into a sacred forest, where 10,000 owls gather, creating a mystical chorus every night, as if Earth is retelling history through song. Milestone 4. 10,000 years. Civilization buried underground. After 10 millennia, Earth bears no clear traces of humanity. 100% of cities from London to Dubai vanish, with only 0.01% of stone foundations exposed under 10 meters of sediment, at a rate of 1 more year. Geological Society. The Giza Pyramids, once 146 meters tall, are now a 30-meter sandhill, eroded by wind at 0.1 more year per archaeological science. 1 billion tons of plastic are buried under 20 meters of soil, unrecognizable per environmental research letters. Ecosystems reach a pristine state. 200 million hybrid cat descendants with 40% longer claws dominate Eurasian grasslands, per evolutionary biology. 500 million large birds with 2-meter wingspans rule the skies, turning the Sahara into a vibrant bird sea, per Ornithology Journal. Oceans thrive. 90% of coral reefs recover, and 200,000 blue whales claim 95% of global seas, per Marine Biology. Infrastructure is entirely gone. 99% of structures, dams, bridges, houses, are covered by erosion and sediment, with 10 meters of new soil per geology. The Hoover Dam, once 221 meters tall, becomes a grassy plain with no trace left. Stone and copper tool fossils are rare, buried under 30 meters of sediment, detectable only by deep excavation per paleontology. Satellites leave 1 million tons of debris merged into the soil, per space research. Climate mirrors the Holocene. CO2 reaches 220 ppm, thanks to 7 billion trees absorbing 25 GTC annually per nature. Temperature drops 2.5 degrees Celsius, causing 80% of Antarctic ice to expand, lowering sea levels by 5 meters per IPCC. 60% of the Sahara becomes grasslands, with 1.5 million kilometers of new grass per science. Geology completes erasure. 100% of concrete degrades. Only 1% of stone foundations in deserts persist, unrecognizable. River erosion 1 million a year, and sediment cover 99% of traces per geomorphology. Mount Rushmore becomes a bald hill with no human faces per Journal of Geomorphology. In Manhattan, 1 million oak trees grow over Wall Street's ruins, turning the stock exchange into a sacred oak forest, where 50,000 squirrels host a market of acorns, as if Earth is laughing at humanity's financial ambitions. Milestone 5. 100,000 years. Earth forgets humanity. After 100 millennia, Earth bears no recognizable traces of civilization. 100% of structures are covered by sediment under 100 meters of soil at a rate of 1 a year. Geological Society. The Giza Pyramids and Mount Rushmore erode flat into 10-meter earthen hills at 0.1 a year per archaeological science. Stone and copper tool fossils are rare, buried under 300 meters of sediment, detectable only by deep geological excavation, per paleontology. Ecosystems are entirely new. Hybrid cats, weighing 20 kilosolars, dominate grasslands, with 300 million individuals in Eurasia, per evolutionary biology. Large birds with 3-meter wingspans rule the skies, forming a 1 billion bird sea in the Sahara, per Ornithology Journal. Oceans dazzle. 95% of coral reefs cover the seas, and 500,000 whales claim 98% of waters, per Marine Biology. Infrastructure ceases to exist. 100% of cities are covered by forests, grasslands, or seas. 1 billion tons of microplastics are buried under 500 meters of soil, with no trace per environmental science. Large stone structures, Stonehenge, erode into pebbles at 0.05 mm year per geology. Climate achieves natural equilibrium. CO2 stabilizes at 200 ppm, thanks to 8 billion trees and oceans absorbing 30 GTC annually per nature. Temperature drops 3 degrees Celsius, lowering sea levels by 10 meters per IPCC. 70% of the Sahara becomes grasslands, with 2 million km² of new grass per science advances. Geology erases all traces. 100-meter thick sediment and volcanoes cover 100% of structures per geology. River erosion at 0.5 mm a year shapes new landscapes with no urban traces per geomorphology. In San Francisco Bay, 1 million sea lions gather on the Golden Gate Bridge's submerged stones, forming a colossal sea lion beach. as if Earth is hosting a festival for the oceans. Milestone 6. 1 million years. New species and a cosmic secret. After 1 million years, Earth is a pristine planet with no human traces. 100% of civilization is covered by sediment under 1 kilometer of soil at a rate of 1 millimeter a year, Geological Society. 1 million tool fossils are buried under 3 kilometers of sediment, undetectable per paleontology. The Giza pyramids and all stone structures erode flat, blending into natural terrain at 0.1 millimeter per geology. Ecosystems resemble the Jurassic. Hybrid cats with 500 million individuals evolve into 50 year super predators, dominating grasslands per evolutionary biology. Large birds with 5-meter wingspans form a 2 billion bird sea across continents per Ornithology Journal. Oceans dazzle. 100% of coral reefs cover the seas, and 1 million whales claim 99% of waters per marine biology. The Amazon rainforest, with 10 billion trees, covers 80% of South America per Nature. Infrastructure is non-existent. Microplastics dissolve into the soil with no trace. Stone structures like Stonehenge turn to dust per geology. Satellites disintegrate, leaving no evidence per space research. Climate stabilizes with astronomical cycles, Milankovitch. CO2 at 180 ppm. Temperature drops 3.5 degrees. Sea levels fall 15 meters per IPCC. 80% of the Sahara becomes grasslands, with 2.5 million km² of new grass per science. Geology reshapes Earth. 1 km thick sediment and volcanoes erase all traces per geology. River erosion at 0.5 mm a year creates new landscapes with no urban traces per geomorphology. A new species, descended from hybrid cats, develops rudimentary intelligence using crude stone tools, with 1 million individuals in Sahara grasslands per evolutionary biology. But fossil evidence from the Kuiper Belt, found in a fallen meteorite, reveals this species has non-Earth DNA, suggesting an alien seed silently planted millions of years ago. Earth not only forgot humanity but became a playground for a new civilization, not ours.